Hello one and hello all. Thank you for coming to our top 10 films of 2017. Be aware, the beginning of this video is a little different than the rest of it. We had some audio issues and we had to redo this beginning part. Many things have changed in the world since last time we filmed this. For one, the Eagles are world champions of football. Fly Eagles fly. Hopefully that didn't lose any of you. Hopefully you're still here. As I was putting the list together, realized it was actually a pretty decent year. A lot of films that I really enjoyed, some that I rated quite highly. It was a little harder to put this list together, for me at least.
We also don't know each other's lists. We did the same thing that we did last year, where we are completely blinded to what our honorable mentions are, what our lists are.
So we're gonna jump into our honorable mentions. We have 6 each, so we're gonna count down and call them out. Let's see what happens. All right, 1, 2, 3. It comes at night. Okay.
Well, that's the same.
Good start. 1, 2, 3.
Stronger.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
1, 2, 3.
The
Loving
Lovers.
Vincent.
What? You didn't like that one? Oh, I
in
guess
my
it's honorable mention.
1, 2, 3. Stronger.
Logan. Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3. I
Glass
don't feel at home in this
Castle.
world anymore.
I'm
1,
sorry.
2, 3. The
Goodbye,
Beguiled.
Christopher. You watched that one without me?
So why don't you go ahead and start off. Jump into your top 10. What's your number 10?
So my number 10 hits a little close to home. I didn't really know much about this. The story behind it happened in what?
It's only been like 4 years.
I was just absolutely amazed by everything that happened. It really breaks down the story and makes you fall in love with each of these characters. It has just a really tragic ending that, you know, of course I didn't know anything about the story, so I went in completely blind and did not expect that at all, and I really liked it, and that's why it nailed the spot as number 10.
They did a good job of building that relationship between all of them and then crashing down. My number 10 was... I enjoyed this one. Yeah, it's got a lot of layers to it. It's kind of harsh and sometimes it's a bit of a dark comedy. You've got Frances McDormand, who is trying to get the police after so many months to really start investigating more into the murder of her. So
Don't you even think about it.
What? What?
Sorry.
I wasn't going to do anything. She rents out these billboards and everything goes crazy from there. It's a great performance by everybody in it. Rockwell, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, but he plays everything the same. And Frances McDormand. It goes to some dark places and it's funny.
Okay, so my number 9 is... I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the story. I thought it was really funny and at like the right points of being funny. I think the one aspect of it that I didn't like was just Katie Holmes' character. I just thought she was pointless, really. But everything else, I love Channing Tatum, I love Adam Driver, I love Daniel Craig, and when you put them all in a movie together, it just builds into something that's fantastic. And I thought it was hilarious and really, really good.
My number 9 was a film that I checked out and I didn't love. I didn't love it the first time I watched it. I let it marinate a bit, listened to some of the music, some of the interviews with the cast, including Timothy Chalamet, who, I mean, I just want to be best friends with that guy. He just seems cool. And it really started to hit me. You know, it's a great love story. It's a coming-of-age movie. I mean, a kid trying to find himself. And great performances. Michael Stuhlbarg, one of the great underrated actors working today. I mean, he's in so much, including Shape of Water. He's in that as well. And Timothy Chalamet, he's going to be something special. And Armie Hammer, I mean, who knew that guy had some acting chops in him?
So my number 8 is... I didn't really know too much about it going into it. And then as the film was coming out, it only, like, I think the commercials only showed like 2 weeks before it came out or something.
It was like 6 weeks.
It was, yeah, it wasn't very, you know, publicized due to Kevin Spacey. And after watching it, I really think Christopher Plummer, it was a way better choice than Kevin Spacey. I really couldn't see Kevin Spacey being Getty. Like, after
all that
watching
makeup
that,
was really, it was terrible. I'm happy that he wasn't involved in it
And
anymore.
It's not even just because of the scandal that was going on. It's just I don't think that was a good fit, and I think who they changed it to was amazing, and the story that they did was really good too.
Well, what I heard was he was initially supposed to play it in the first place, Christopher Plummer, and he didn't want to.
Oh, well, I'm glad he changed his mind.
Okay, my number 8, small film. I believe it was put out by A24. Starring Robert Pattinson, and I believe Benny Safdie was the one that was acting in it, but by the way, he's amazing in the movie. It's about Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie, their characters, they're brothers, and they're trying to rob a bank, get some money. He ends up going to jail, Benny Safdie does, and he's mentally incapable, he's a little off, and Robert Pattinson has to find a way to get him out. But the music is really solid. It's a little bit of a throwback, I think, to like 70s thrillers. It feels very nostalgic in a way to old films, but it's a really good portrayal of somebody that claims they love somebody and really they just love themselves. And it's great. Robert Pattinson is a great actor.
I was just about to say that. I don't care what you say. Robert Pattinson is a great actor.
He was snubbed for any sort of awards this year. I think that whole film was. And yeah, I mean, good film, good time.
Okay, so my number 7 is
I'm gonna be honest, I'm so tired of hearing about The Room at this point.
It's not even The Room. The Room is awful. But the way that they showed the story behind it is what I loved. James Franco did an amazing job as Tommy. I think he really stole the movie. His acting was right on. He did his accent really well, whatever accent, his New Orleans accent. I did really like this movie. I am sick of hearing about The Room, so I think that's why it's lower on my list, but I did really enjoy this movie, and learning the story behind it was really interesting as well.
Too bad he touched some people, so now his whole movie is ruined forever.
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Scandals. My number 7 may come as a surprise to those that are familiar with this channel. My number 7 was Logan. Not Lucky, Logan.
I'm surprised.
I love this movie. This is how these movies should be made. With heart, with a real character, grounded as much as you can. This was a perfect example of how to make a realistic superhero movie. It all culminates from, what is it, like 17 years at this point of X-Men movies. It all comes down to this one, and it was just executed so well. Hugh Jackman was better than ever as Wolverine. Patrick Stewart was better than ever as X. And it's just a fantastic movie, fantastic story, and a fantastic ending to what I think is some solid superhero movies as far as X-Men goes.
You won't ever hear that again.
I have a few big budget movies on my list.
What? So my 6. Again, it was another one of those movies where I didn't really know like the story behind it, and I'm one of those people that after I hear about the movies based off of this, I research it and I look into it. And so when I was looking into this, I was like, oh, this movie's got to be great. It's got Margot Robbie in it. I absolutely love her. Sebastian Stan is amazing.
Janney is the mom.
The mom, yeah, I love her just in everything she's in. She's a very underrated actor, I feel. And I just like how they executed it. The way that they showed each character's perspective in the situation that happened, and the way that it all boiled down, and how you never really know exactly what happened, but all of these stories are coming together and it kind of pieces it, but you're still kind of like, okay, so who really was involved?
I thought it was solid. I didn't know there were so many Tonya Harding fans out there, though. Considering
what had
everything
happened.
that went down. Yeah, I mean, like what Seth said. How do you think Nancy Kerrigan feels seeing Tonya Harding at the Golden Globes? My number 6, another big budget film.
Get out of here. Oh, I should have seen that coming, actually.
I mean, I love this. I think it's a great trilogy. I think Andy Serkis does some great work at motion capture work in these films. And this one, I think they just get better as they go on, honestly. There's a lot at stake in this one. The acting is great. I don't care what you say. Motion capture is acting. And
oh, absolutely.
hopefully eventually they'll start recognizing actors that partake in that particular form of acting.
Yeah, I feel like motion capture is harder than just regular acting because you can't see what your character is doing. You're making the faces and you're like, hopefully that works, otherwise call me back. Like, that's what it is. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
I love the film. The only thing I was not a fan of was Bad Ape. I thought
that was coming.
They tried to add this humorous part to it, which honestly, it's a terribly depressing movie. I mean, if you honestly think about it, it's a little bit like a Holocaust kind of movie.
Yeah.
But they tried to add that humor in there, which is fine. You know, you want to break up that tension every once in a while, but it was just not placed at the right spots.
So my top 5, right up to before we started filming this, has shifted so many times. My number 5 is... I absolutely loved this film. I can never say her name.
Say Saoirse.
I absolutely love her. I think she's a fantastic actress. Phenomenal. And her character plus...
Laurie Metcalf.
Yes. Both of them just have such great chemistry. I think I liked this film a lot just because it was a coming-of-age film, I think, for myself, like for girls or women in general. And so I think that's why I liked it so much.
My number 5 was a little in the same vein, I guess. About a mother and daughter in a way.
Never saw it.
A trashy mother and daughter. I was not a big fan of Sean Baker's other film, Tangerine, so I went in hesitant. But I love this film. I mean, I loved everything about it except for the ending, really. The ending is a bit of a divisive part of the film. Willem Dafoe is great in the movie. It's one of those movies where nothing happens, but everything happens. It follows these people who live in these hotels. They don't stay there for short periods of time. It's more almost permanent.
Live there.
And just what they do, what kind of shenanigans the little kids get into. If there is a way I would have envisioned the ending. I wish it would have gone that way. Other than that ending, the whole film is just so intriguing.
So my number 4 is... I liked how they did this. I'm not a huge fan of Edgar Wright. I'm not a huge fan of his other movies. Going into Baby Driver, I was like, okay, I love every actor that's in it, so I want to see how it goes. And I really liked it. I liked how the music came from something. It wasn't just like the music in the background, and I liked the story about it, and I liked the chemistry that all of the actors and actresses had together. I did really enjoy this movie, and I think I will continue to enjoy this movie. I think it will just keep going up on my list as I continue to watch it. So
I love all his movies, and I love this movie, but I think it was my least favorite. But that's just how much I really like the others.
I
think the guy is a genius, really, because you have to watch his movies several times because there's so many
details,
so many hidden things throughout the movie, that like foreshadowing and hidden messages. I'll leave a link down below to a video explaining all of it because it's just so intriguing. All his movies need multiple viewings. My number 4 was a movie that checked out early in the year. It's not some cheap 20-year remake or sequel. This film has so much heart and so much charm, and there are callbacks to the original, but it's done so gracefully and beautifully, and I think there's a lot more to love about this one, because honestly, the characters in the original are just terrible people, really, and in this one, they get older. Most of them start to realize that there's more to life. Choose life. I think it's a beautiful film. The cinematography is great. It's like so unique. I love it.
My number 3 is... I don't care what anyone has to say about Casey Affleck. Okay, that's like your thing with him. I loved him in this movie, and it's not just because he was silent, okay? It was because of like how he portrayed the ghost, like how he did it. And I did look into it, and he was the ghost the whole time, which was really cool. And I liked the story behind it, and you know, everything that went into this movie. And Rooney Mara, she was fantastic in it as well. I really liked her in this movie. For as quiet of a movie as it was, I think it just exploded with so much thought. Like, it just really made you think about, wow, like, this is life. Like, this is what it is.
I almost forget about the way the ending is.
Yeah.
That really puts it together.
Yeah.
My number 3 was another film where I was not really sure how I felt sitting in the theater watching it, but discussing it with Matt and Seth and letting it marinate. I mean, I love this film. It's so unique and dark and different. I've never seen anything like this, and the music is absolutely outstanding.
I'm so jealous. You don't even understand.
Daniel Day-Lewis, I mean, the guy is legendary. Love him in this film. He plays a sort of like an OCD controlling fashion designer, and he finds a new woman who puts him in his place, and it turns into this really dark, twisted tale, and it's done so well. Paul Thomas Anderson has a way of making these movies that are just unique and grounded. It's bizarre. It's kind of a bizarre film, to be completely honest, but it's fantastic. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but once that ending happens, it just kind of left speechless a little bit.
So my number 2 actually was my number 1 before I really thought about my number 1. So my number 2 is...
Wow.
Yeah, I loved this movie. I mean, like, when I watched it for the first time, I sat back when it ended and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. The way they did the colors, the way they incorporated Vincent van Gogh's paintings into it, the way they created this story to make you really think, did Vincent commit suicide? Was he murdered? How did this all happen?
And just real quick, the way that they did the film is they got 125 painters to do, I think it was 65,000 hand-painted scenes in the style of Van Gogh.
And it was amazing. I mean, extremely wonderfully executed. So good, and it really left me thinking of, like, you can do anything with films. Like, you really can do anything with movies. And the fact that they pulled that off so well and executed it so well, I think I just fell in love with the movie even more.
My number 2 was...
Oh, wow, okay.
I really, really enjoyed this film. It almost feels a little bit like a ton of little skits put together, the way that it was edited and done. But I think it's funny, I think it's charming, I think Saoirse Ronan is great, and Laurie Metcalf. And you don't have to have grown up with a mother like that or be a girl to relate. We all have the same issues that she goes through for the most part. I mean, of course, there's some that, I've never had a boyfriend that ends up being gay, but but it's a really well done movie. I know I give Greta Gerwig a lot of crap, but the way that it was done in this film, the way she directed it was so charming and so great, and I had a good time with it. I think it's one I could watch repeatedly just because it's fun and charming and it's real. I mean,
different feelings.
It can be funny at times, but at other points it's real. It gets serious, and those are the parts that everybody can relate to.
Okay, so my number 1.
What?
Yeah, I know. What? It was so good.
Wow.
I loved Jennifer Lawrence in it. I loved Javier. It is just absolutely wonderful how it's portrayed. At first it got a little weird, and then it got, like, I don't know, it was just so...
It's not very hard to decipher what's going on, but it's just a matter of
how do
if
you
it
take
hits
it
with
in.
you. Yeah.
Right, how do you take it in? How do you, understand what they're telling you? And I really just thought it was, really well done in every sense of it. I just think it was really great, and to basically show humanity.
Literally, yeah.
Literally, humanity and what we've done in this world. And I just think that I don't know, I just loved it. I really did. That's why it's my number one.
I mean, I can get why people think it's pretentious or why they don't like it. It makes sense. It's a little on the nose as far as the metaphors go, but
right.
But
it was done well. Like, it wasn't done so obnoxiously. It was done to where you're like, okay, I see what's happening here. Awesome.
My number one, that I think may surprise a lot of people. Surprised me, honestly.
Oh, gosh.
And you have seen it. It's right in front of your face.
Oh, God, I'm walking away.
Oh!
I did not like it. I did not.
I was not fond of the original. I don't know why. Maybe I'm too stupid to get it. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe I just never really got into it. But I love 2049.
It's because of Ryan Gosling.
No, that's not the only reason.
The
Denis Villeneuve is such a fantastic director, and the way he directed this film was so serene and Kubrick-esque in how hypnotizing. I don't know, it's almost creepy in a way. The way the world is portrayed. It's not a beautiful world, but the way that Roger Deakins' cinematography for it makes it this beautiful, hypnotizing, serene sort of world. Score is fantastic and haunting and loud and...
See, that's the difference. Because I remember, this is honestly, and I'm going to be so honest, this is one of the first movies that I walked out and I said I did not like it. And he was like, oh my gosh, I loved it. And it was like the first time that that's ever happened with us. And I'm telling you, that's like the honest truth. And I think it's because sitting in the theater and listening to the music, oh my God, it was so loud. The story behind it is really interesting and intriguing. And you don't really need to watch the first one, because I didn't. I've never seen the first one.
No, that's what makes this film so great, is it's not treated as a sequel.
No.
It's treated as a continuation of this world.
Right. And that's what I did like about it.
It just struck a chord with me, and I think it's Roger Deakins' time. I think he's going to win it for this one. After 14 nominations and losing every single one, I think it's his time. Beautiful film, and it's one that I could watch repeatedly. I think that's kind of criteria for what I enjoy in films, is if I can watch it
more and more.
Watch it more than one time. That's our top 10. Let us know down below what your top 10 is. Always curious to hear what people like throughout the year, because everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions. So that's always fun.
What did you think of our top 10?
Yeah, what did you think? You think we're dumb? You think it's a good top 10? Let us know. Another year in the books. Another year of film, and we've already started the new one. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and we'll see you next time.